follow.
Hello. Check, check, check.
Sounds good.
Hi everyone. I'm Thiago from hexdevs. This is Stephanie. Does it sound okay?
Yes. It looks good on my end. So it should be okay.
Alright, so we are starting another Open Source Thursdays, and we've got some interesting stuff to do. So for those that don't know, Open Source Thursdays is a project that we are doing to help the Rails community, or open source in general, but we decided to start contributing to open source, and we knew a little bit about it, but we never did it consistently, so we said, oh, let's just do it and see what happens. And so the idea is to contribute to an open source project every Thursday, and then we're gonna stream it and we're gonna learn together how to do it well. And we are contributing to Rails now, so if you haven't watched this before, we are working on a pull request to fix it's kind of a bug on active storage, the way it renders the routes for files and blobs and whatever. Doesn't work when you're running a disk service, and
you set the draw routes to files when you want to implement the routes by yourself.
Yeah, so we've been working on that. We found a way to fix it. We submitted a PR, I guess. Maybe.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. So we submitted the PR, and then we got some nice feedback from the Rails maintainers. And then we clean up some things. So someone complained about the disk service when it's running a mirror service. So a mirror service points to different services. So it has a primary, and it has a list of mirrors, and one of them could be a disk service.
Right.
So we wrote some code to handle that kind of edge case, but the code's kind of bad, so we wanna refactor it today, make it a little better, and then see if we get some reviews as well. And then while doing that, someone else gave us a really good suggestion about how to rethink the way we're doing this. So we implemented it this one way with the help of someone else, from just a suggestion from someone. But then this person said, hey, what if you did this thing in a slightly different way? And then we thought, it looks good, it's a good idea, but we're still waiting for them to decide if it's a good idea or not, because we're not gonna make the decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, so while that is happening, that discussion is happening, we are just fixing the edge case with the mirror service. We wrote a test, we fixed the code, the code passes, but we want to make it a little better.
Yeah, it's super ugly, but we are following the TDD methodology process. I don't know.
Kinda.
Yeah, where you write the test first, then you write it's not a bad code, but make the test pass, and then you refactor the code. And that's where we stopped last Thursday. So today we want to make that method a little bit better, and then I think we can ask for a second round of reviews, because the other suggestion would require some discussion from the maintainers, because it's a different direction.
Yeah, we do know
Right.
how to implement
Yeah.
that suggestion, but we're not gonna decide. So we're just waiting for them to give us some feedback, some comments, And then what you said about TDD is correct, because first you wanna you write the test, then you implement a fix, even if the fix is kind of ugly,
Yeah.
and then you make the test pass so it goes green, and then you refactor. It's not a really good idea to refactor code while you're writing it, because you kind of have this different.
It can interfere with the goal, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
because we kind of have this kind of different mindset, not mindsets, but more like hats that we wear, where one you're just writing the code to fix the problem, and then another you're kind of evaluating what you're doing and making it better. So it's kind of like editing a text to make it better.
Yeah.
It's hard to draft and to edit at the same time, makes things harder, makes things slower, and then you might end up with a complicated solution for a simple problem. So we don't want that, so that's why we kind of separated things. So fix the bug, the test is passing, and now we want to do a little bit of refactoring to see what we how we can improve this.
Yeah. So that's what we are going to do today. Let us know if there is anyone watching us live, and let's get started. Thiago will be the pilot today.
Alright.
So I think our branches are all updated.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's open this thing again. Okay, so storage. So this is the piece of code that we want to improve. And then what you can see here is that we're doing the same thing a bunch of times. So for example, we do this once, we do this here, and then we do this here as well, and then we don't break the line, so this is not good. So we can make this a little better. So I think I have two ideas here. Maybe I'll start with the simplest one, and then we can see if it's good enough or improve it, because I think this might be doing too much. Because ideally what I would want to do is service.disk, something like that. Disk enabled, and this works for any type of service.
Right.
So maybe this is one way, but let's try something simple now and then get back to it.
Can you close the thing? Yeah, perfect.
So we do have the test somewhere.
I think it's in the configuration test or no?
See if I can.
If you look at the PR at the last commit, it might be easier because I don't. I think we wrote it in the royalties. If
it's in the royalties.
I think so.
So let's see. So the command is ilib something. It's not here.
Oh, if you go, sorry. Oh yeah, we are using the same computer. If you go on Notion. Actually, it's because the command. If you
let's open
Control R
here.
If you Control R in the terminal, I think you can find. Yeah, that works. But I already have the.
Okay, so Control R ilib.
Try.
Where
Um.
ilib.
No, actually, configuration test. Try. No. Oh yeah,
oh,
that's
I mean
right.
configuration.
Test.
Configuration.
Yeah, that one.
This one. The mirror service, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have to
Clean the name.
clean the test as well.
Let's just see if it passes or not. me just copy this. Yeah, so it works. Let's see if I can show it here. So
It's funny because I don't like running everything on Visual Code.
why?
Because I like to see everything really open. For example, I don't like to see the editor with stuff on the side.
So it's working.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we can close it.
But you can use it, I don't. You are
Because
driving.
actually I use Emacs and then I just run a command and it runs the test for you, but
Sorry.
I'm not gonna configure that now. Yeah, so
Okay.
we have the service, we have the test passing. Maybe we can open the test as well.
I think it's the one that is
Here?
over there.
Yeah, so it's the mirror service. Mirror service, this one, right?
Yeah,
So let's
it's open
the
over
file,
there. Yeah.
So let's rename this thing here to something a little better.
This is the right one.
Let's do something similar, I guess. Your service. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Active storage draw routes can be configured. Active storage draw routes. How can we name this? For
With mirror service?
mirror service can be configured or
I guess. Yeah, let's follow the pattern, I guess. Can be configured. Let me open here. Maybe can be configured with mirror service. Yeah, that sounds.
it's hard to name tests sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's start here and we can always make it better. So okay, and then I guess this will still work because we have mirror service here. And
Yeah, so I don't think we need to change anything else in the test itself. It was mostly
yeah, the
right?
test is fine. It's just the description was a little weird. Yeah, okay, so it's working. Let's get back to this thing here. So we have the service, blob service. And then we have, yeah, if it's false if the service is not there. But what we can do here is, if the service is this service, then it's true, right? But if it's a mirror service, we have to do all of this stuff here.
Yeah. Question. If I just have a disk service without just a disk service, it's not a mirror service. Can we just return true right away?
You mean if you have a disk service?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So we could do this. Return true. If something like that.
Yeah.
And then we don't need the else anymore. And then, well, I guess you would still have false here, right?
This.
Or you could move it here.
Yeah, because we want everything else to be false, right?
Yeah, if it's not this and this other stuff. Yeah, but you will want to return here as well, right?
Yeah.
To be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, if this is true, say this is true, but it would still get false here.
Yeah.
So you want to return.
That's true.
So, yeah. And so if the service is not there,
Return false.
return unless service.
Mm-hmm.
True if the service is a disk service,
Mm-hmm.
and then whatever happens is always false. But if it's a mirror,
Mm-hmm.
we check, right? So let's break this stuff down a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. So you have this or this other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or so if any of the services, so one thing you could do is this. Let's say you have a list of services.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a little list here. Yeah, so you could do something like primary, something like that. Service mirrors. And then you do this directly.
Mm.
It's kind of the same thing.
Mm.
You're just grabbing everything.
Right.
The services. Yeah, this is one way to do it. Or you could just do this, I guess. It will give you the same thing.
Mm.
Let's see. And then you would return here. Right? If any of these services, primary or mirrors,
Mm.
if any of them is a disk service, then it's
Well.
true. If not, it's gonna be false, right?
Right.
Let's see if this
Shouldn't the what is it called, bracket be at the end of
here.
service mirrors? Because you are creating that list, right?
So I'm just concatenating this guy with the rest of the services. So I'm creating a list with all of them.
Mm.
So it works, but maybe
Right, but then shouldn't you close it here?
so no, because this is a list
Oh,
and this is a list as well with one element.
Mm.
So that's one way to do it. You could also do this if you wanted,
Mm. Okay.
because you
So-
the list inside the other, but then you have to flatten it.
Mm.
So this is just a concat. So you concat one list with another. This is one way to do it, but I don't like
Mhm.
it because I think, to me, this feels that this thing here should be handled by the service itself, right?
Mm.
This stuff here,
Right.
because you're kind of looking inside the mirror service, grabbing the stuff that it
Mhm.
has, and then trying to decide if it has a disk service or not. To me, this should live in the service itself, right?
Mm. Yeah.
And then we would also get, you could implement this to
Mm.
the other. So say we implemented this to disk service,
Mm.
and have a little method there.
Right.
Then this would be handled, and then for the mirror service you implement this thing inside of it,
Mm-hmm.
and for the others it's always false, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think it would look a little better.
Mm.
What do you think? So you have something like, So this is what we
Yeah.
want. So this is what is kind of bad, but it's a little better than what we had before. But something that would be even better would be this blob service disk or something like that, and that's it. And then you move things around so you can get this from the service. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it makes more sense.
But we of course would have to write some tests for that, but I think this would be a better implementation.
Alternative, yeah.
So we could try that. Let's see here. So this is working, but I don't like this very much. Service.
Do you want to take a look at the tests for them?
Yes.
Like the disk service. Because I honestly, yeah, I would expect that implementation to be already done. Because I wonder, wouldn't you need to check that somewhere else? Like, are we the first ones to check the type of a service?
So you don't really need to check that because you just say, hey service, do this, right? You just do this. We don't care.
Okay.
So the service is responsible for knowing that it is a disk service and doing the right thing. Where here we just want to know if it's a disk service, right? And then the service could just say, yes, I am a disk service, or no, right? Because that's pretty much what we're doing here, right? So we are looking at the service and deciding if this service is enabled or not. I wonder if the mirror service can give you just a list of services.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Because you could do that as well. So you just look at all the services, primary mirrors. You just see here it's from service, delegates, exist to primary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Upload.
Delete. Mirror. Yeah.
Each service.
This is private. Can see how they're doing the same thing that I'm doing here. Actually, this is even nicer. So the way they're doing it, let me change it here.
Learning from the past.
So service primary. Service mirrors. So this is the splat operator, I think. So it just flattens the list or something. Yeah, something like that. So it gives you the same thing they're doing.
Right.
And then let's see. Should work as well.
Mirror service.
Yeah. And then you can even do something a little simpler where you just do return and then you just put the stuff here and then you just do and right?
Yeah.
And then instead of mirror, I just call it service.
Add this. Yeah, this here. So the service is.
Yeah, they call it service.
Okay.
This is one way to make it a little better, but just you see that this feels like this thing here should be something like this instead of this, because then if it's a disk service, it's true. If it's not, then it's not.
Yeah.
At least that's what I'm seeing here. I'm not sure. It would be nice to do this.
Okay. If the way the services are created is intentionally not to have these checks, like, is this a disk? Then create this or whatever. Then are we being against, like, are we going the opposite direction by doing this? You know what I mean? I don't know the answer, but how do we check that? If, I mean, we can do that, but it might be what it wasn't built for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if that is the intention, how can we approach this differently? Okay.
Hello? Oh, are we back? That's funny. I think it was the internet.
Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
It was just a few seconds. So I don't have the answers. I'm sorry, but that's
yeah, it feels kind of redundant because you have the type of the service, which is a disk service, and then you're asking, "Hey, service, are you a disk service?" But it might not be, right?
Yeah.
It might be a mirror, but then. Yeah, so why would this service respond to that? Why do I need to respond to? Am I a disk or not? Right?
Yeah.
How is that useful? What we could do is just have a way to expose all the services, and then we could do service dot services or each dot each, and then you check. So, for example, making this thing like a similar method public. But then that's the thing. You don't want people on the outside messing up with your internal services, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I just saw that.
They want it to be threaded, so asynchronous, like in parallel.
If
yeah, I mean, we do have access to these services, right? So they left the attributes public. So it is okay to look at them, but not change them. You shouldn't mess up with them, change them. But I guess it would be fine to look at them and see if they are disk services.
Yeah, well, we can always do what we yeah, but I'm just curious then what is the best way to approach this, because you find because can we see the engine again? Because that's the moment they decide.
Changing.
That's the moment they decide which service is going to be, right? So, for example, if you go. No, I'm having a slow day today. Well, no. I'm not sure.
This is a little redundant to me,
yeah.
but I'm not sure.
And it does seem off because all the other methods are smaller, I would say. Not just smaller, but yeah, it looks off, but I don't.
Generate URL.
Exist, ignore files.
Let's see what else we got here.
Oops. Guard against.
Yeah, we could do something like a case statement as well. Yeah, something like that would work, I guess. Yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
Let's see how it looks. Where were we? Okay, so let's see. So we have this.
Yeah, because I think maybe a case would handle all of these scenarios better, and maybe that's what is looking off is like because the case would have everything structured, and you would clearly see, oh, okay, so this is true, this is true, this is false, right? So, okay.
Yeah, let's try that. When yes, new false. When you want to, I would like to see the type and the service, not just. So there's a way to do. Yeah, there's a new way to do stuff with cases where you can do you can like do pattern matching, but I don't think it's supported by older versions of Ruby. So I'm not sure. But let's say case, maybe they do that somewhere. No, I don't think they do it. Let's see. Yeah, let's try this now. So if case service is new, it's false. But if
you can still use the service, right? You can still have the service. Like you can still have the just call service.
Yes, okay. Service, because I want to see the type, right? Type, service. Service. When something else. I guess here it would be mirror. So when it's a mirror, I see that it gets complicated.
Yeah.
To do this stuff here. See how that gets complicated. So it's not really
But it's,
cleaner, it's just kind
yeah.
of more complicated. But we could turn this
Hmm.
into a private method maybe.
Yeah, that's true. That's not better.
Mirror service. What we could do to make it a little better is this could be a private method maybe. Yeah, but to me it feels like this should live inside the service, but not sure.
Yeah.
If this
Well,
lived
it
inside the
makes sense.
service,
Uh-huh.
then it would be easy.
Yeah.
But then all the other service would have to implement this, I guess. This method as well. Just to make it easier. Yeah, service type. If it's new, it's false. Is this service true? If it's service, you check
Can you take a look at this?
this one.
Yeah, case E type.
It's the type of the
Ah,
error.
okay. That's just curious.
Yeah, we could
Right.
have a private method that handles that. Let's try that. We have a private method.
Can you do that in the service instead of doing it on each?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Because all the services inherit from service.
Yeah.
And so can't you just place that in the service?
Yes, you could do this service. This is what I was kind of proposing. Let's put this somewhere. Build. Configure. Upload. Yeah, see, metadata. Not implemented. Yeah, let's put it somewhere on here. But we could do this def disk maybe. It's always false. But on mirror service, let's start with the simple case. On disk service, you would have the right implementation, which would be true. So for this guy, can we put it here? Disk, it's true, always true, right? Because it needs to be. Can maybe give it a bit, but I think it makes sense. Is disk? Yes.
Yeah.
And then on mirror service, we implement, but let's see where this is. Exist. How does exist here? Exist. It's just probably inheriting. So yeah, whatever. Delete. Let's put it here. Disk. And then we do this stuff here.
Right.
Disk service. Mirror service. We do primary. Mirrors. Any do service. And then here you can do disk. And you don't need this anymore.
And I guess you don't need the do anymore.
What do you mean?
I think you can have it on one line then.
Oh, I see. So you mean disk service. You could even do this instead. That would be nice. You could do this, I think. And is that it? It's not right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
So if the primary or the mirrors, if any of them are of type is a disk, then it's true. If not, it's false. So yeah, so disk service, mirror service has this.
Okay.
Disk service is always true. And then let's look at this. And so we can simply do this, I guess. If the service is present, you just do this. And then you lose all of this. You don't need this anymore. Right? Because it handles when it's new. It handles when it's a disk service because it's implemented. Then you lose this as well because mirror implements that, and then the other case is always false. So it feels much better to me.
Right.
You just have this and that's it. Now, does this work? Let's find out.
I guess we'll also have to.
You have to write tests for all that stuff. You just try it out.
If that passes, let's run the active storage tests.
Works.
I'm a little okay. Can you
Let's
run
try
the active? Yeah, try.
Invert this. Maybe the test is not good enough.
Yeah.
Maybe the test is not good. Could be.
It could be because we are just testing the one thing, and
because I guess all of the services are disk services on the test, right? So maybe we need better tests.
Yeah, it's not actually
really giving us anything. So here.
What if you run the active storage? Actually, can you run the other test, the draw routes? If you
draw routes?
Yeah. I think if you just change that one.
Yeah, so I think the problem is that the test for royalties, all of those services are disk services, right?
Yeah.
So either we create one that is not a disk service to try it out.
We did. We created the mirror.
Did we?
Oh, but it's still a disk service.
It's still a disk service.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe we could create another one that is not a disk service. Or maybe we can handle this on the service test, right?
I think it makes more sense, but
so this guy here, the mirror service is a disk service, right? Because I don't remember the name of the.
If you go to the PR, we should see it. I also don't remember.
It's this guy here, right?
Yeah.
Rails storage. We could create one that is not a disk.
Okay. So where were we?
So we were talking about
using another
so now
mirror.
I'm afraid to hit Ctrl P again.
So don't do it. No.
So it's
oh, I see what you mean.
It's the
file. Just
templates config storage. Templates. Where in the templates? Let me just do this. Oops. No, that's not it.
what is that?
Sorry. Don't. I think I copied So if I copy this name here, then yeah, maybe I did
Control Shift.
Command B or something. Yes. So see that they're all disk services. Because local is a disk service.
Yeah.
So we could create another one that is not a disk service and try. What do you think?
I would run the active storage tests first, because we have been adding stuff in there, and probably it's before we test the royalties, we add tests for those methods that we added.
Go to the terminal again. Some active storage. Storage. And then
I think it's just rake tests. Yeah. If I remember,
run all of them.
Yeah, I think the royalties are the ones that take a lot of time. But I might be wrong, but I think it's. Oh no, I think this one will take some time. We could just go to the classes to the modules we added. Perhaps. I was wrong.
Mirror service or something.
Those do take some time. Oh, we are not showing off in the camera.
Oh, okay. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe because we changed the services, right?
So you wanna run the active storage tests? Is that it? What you wanna do?
Yeah, but they take a lot of time. So maybe you can just run the ones in service.
I mean, like disk service test. Yeah, we could run disk service test maybe, right? We could even add a service root. We could even add a test here, right?
Yeah.
Let's say disk here.
Yeah, I think it doesn't hurt. It's better. Test.
This should be true, I guess. Unless, yeah, it's gonna always be true. And then we do rake.
I think it's going to complain that you have two tests with the same name.
Oh yeah, sorry. This.
Isn't
this supposed to be like this?
Your generation has
It's funny, they don't kind of follow that pattern. So service, so this service, so this should be true.
Yeah.
And then to test this, we have to do the eyelid thing, right?
You can just run this entire test. It's just 4 tests.
Rake test.
Yeah.
I know, but oh yeah, I know. I know what you mean. Test service. Like this. Rake test service.
Though, yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt this test, but I don't think it.
Wrong. Disk service. Let's go to the terminal here. So it's rake test. try this.
Hmm.
It's service, and then
Yeah, this disk service.
yeah, okay.
Oh, it shouldn't fail because we're testing if true is true.
Yeah. But we're testing that it has the method, right?
Yeah.
That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Remember to edit out the middle of the stream afterwards. Okay. Yeah, so I guess it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of tests here. I thought it was just, or maybe they have
Shared
more here,
services.
yeah.
Okay.
And so I guess what we would do is we would go to each of these and add this test, or maybe we could do the share.
Yeah, I think that's why it's created actually.
But we can't. It can't be shared, right? Because some of them will be true, some of them will be false, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we have to do it for at least for each type of them. So for example, GCS is a type of.
Let's say yes, because it can be S3, it can be.
Let's
right?
look at the mirror first. So the mirror, we know that. Yeah, I don't know. Is this? Are they using a disk service here? I don't know.
Mirror config. Yeah, they have some. So I think they have a. They are all disk. They have a mirror config at the beginning.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I would like to test, at least for disk, that it doesn't have a disk service and it gives me false, right? Or else it's just gonna be kind of a dumb test. See? They're all disk here, so it's gonna be true. But what about the false case? I would like to test that, right?
What if you...
So I have to write a bunch of stuff. Ooh. Yeah, this is it's gonna take some work.
Service stuff news. Okay.
Because if I do this, it should also work. This is not really what I want to test. Like, it doesn't give me much.
Yeah. What if...
Yeah, we can start with that, I guess, and then think about it.
What if you create another service that is not a disk on that method?
You mean this one? Create a different one?
Yeah, just for that test.
Should I create another file here, or?
No, I guess you could. No, okay. Service configurations. Yeah, you would need to use this service configurations.
Yeah, it's kind of a different test, right? But maybe we can get started with that and see where that leads us, because it's gonna be hours of work, I guess.
That is true.
And then here, what if because this technically wouldn't be a disk service, so this should give me false. Let's try that. Let's try that. So this should be false. Hopefully. If this gives me false, I'm least a little bit more confident. Like, I know the code works. It's kind of obvious that it works, but it'll be nice to test it properly.
You're running the mirror again.
Oh yeah, sorry. So this is the GCP thing. GCS. What is GCS? Oh, that's probably like a Google thing. Like an S3 for Google or whatever. Google something service.
Something.
So you see that this is the real life of the developer, right?
You always think it's going to be straightforward.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, no. It's
Because
actually not.
you add a little method and then you have to change a bunch of the tests.
Yeah.
But yeah, it works. But let's just try this. I just want to be sure. Let's just make sure.
Yeah. I always test.
Yeah, because if it's not giving
Any
an error,
changes?
then it's broken. You gotta fix it. So fingers crossed. Yeah, it's nice to run. It's not working. See, no errors. Am I testing the right GCS service?
Yes.
Because it's giving me true and false at the same time. I think
How
I'm not
is that?
running this thing. It's impossible, right? Because let's try this. It can be true and false at the same time, so I think I'm not running the right test. So test active storage, test service, active storage, test service, GCS.
It's correct.
Let me try this instead. Let me just try the right test. Test is a service GCS. GCS service test. And then the name is going to be disk, I guess. Disk. Disk. At least we run the right test. There's no name.
Did it work?
It's not working. Swake bundle.
Can you put a binding prior?
No, the problem is that it doesn't. Name doesn't work. So it's a different command. What is the name of the other test we're doing? Draw routes.
Yeah. Sorry, what are you?
So I wanna run just that test, right? Where is the there's an example here somewhere.
You have it on Notion. Yeah.
Where is Notion?
The other Firefox tab.
Yeah, so this should work, right? Copy. Delete test, best to
It-
test file.
Hmm.
Test service GCS what service?
Service. Mm-hmm.
GCS service. Yes. And then the name of the test, which is this, like this,
Mm.
or do I have to put something special?
Hmm.
No, doesn't work. Oh, bundle. Bundle is active.
Mm-hmm.
So didn't
Zero
run.
runs.
Yeah, it didn't run it. Oh, okay.
I-
Maybe this is the.
Mm.
Let me do it right. So test disk. It's not running anything.
Hmm.
Test service and.
Why?
I don't think this is how we do it.
So it's if you go below that, yeah, that's the one.
Name.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try this instead.
Oh yeah.
So this is disk.
Mm-hmm.
And then the test is test.
Service. Yeah.
GCS service.
Mm-hmm. That should work.
Let's see.
Huh.
So it's not running anything. Let's see here.
But if you try running another name,
Another one.
yeah, like
Direct
disposition.
upload.
I don't know.
You have to run everything.
Hmm. Oh,
No,
okay.
it's not working.
Interesting. You must
Let's try
working for
this.
the relative.
Am I testing the right thing? Active storage. Active storage test service. Active storage test service.
Could you do bundle exact rig test and then the We always get
But
so.
does rake test receive a parameter?
I don't
remember.
No.
It's running
Okay.
a bunch of them now.
You might. Oh, okay. It's going to run all the tests.
At least for that file, right?
I think really. It's because it's not that big.
But it might have the shared tests as well. Maybe they kind of generate the name at runtime, so that's why you can't find it. Yeah, so
Okay.
300 runs, but
Mm.
this shouldn't be true.
Yeah.
So is this even running? Let's do binding try here.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Yeah, we always get.
Doesn't look like it's running the right test, I think.
We always get lost in the tests. This, Yeah, what is why is not going there?
I don't think I'm testing the right thing. Rails
What
active
is-
storage. Am I on the right place now?
How is that possible? There is only one file called.
Desktop Rails active storage test service.
That's unbelievable.
Service GCS. GCS. Yeah, so this guy here's change.
Mm-hmm.
This changed, so maybe there's something wrong here.
I don't. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. Service configurations.
If you put a binding pride there and you run all the service tests, it should stop. Wait,
It's not
what is?
stopping.
No, never mind.
Stop Rails active storage. So it should be the right thing. That's funny.
What is it different than the other tests? The test that we implemented. There's nothing different than the current ones. That doesn't make sense at all.
Because you see the diff, but I wonder if it's skipping that.
Why?
Yeah, it shouldn't skip that, right?
Is there something? Did we put the test in the method at the right place?
Maybe that's the problem. I have skipped it.
Because we added the method disk. Oh right, we did it at the shared, right?
So I guess it's not getting this file here. Because I think break test does that. So Ruby. Let's try this instead. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me go up. I think it's running the right thing. It's not running anything.
That doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Skipping GCS service test because no GCS configuration was supplied.
So wait, so the entire file is not.
Yeah, I don't think it's being tested.
What?
That sucks. Yeah, so I think this whole file is being skipped because it's saying that skipping GCS service because no configuration was supplied. Where is this coming from? No.
It's in the test. If you go to the GCS, there's this if.
Where?
It's line 6.
Oh, I see. So it doesn't test it at all. Maybe it tests on CI and not locally. Could be.
Yeah, well, that's the only
that's
explanation.
Annoying. That is annoying.
Let me see if there is another one that we can.
What if I do this? False. This should fail. Let me just disk service. Let me try disk service.
Oh, that's actually interesting. So
this is a big gotcha. So if you don't have the see for the disk service it works, right? So this is working.
Okay.
Because it's this service is running it, but for example the GCS does this check here. This is a nice little gotcha for everybody. So they have a test, right? They have this test. But this test doesn't run this stuff here if it's not configured. So service configurations. Now, where is this thing coming from?
Yeah. It might be
Test helper. Yeah, so it comes from this service configurations YAML, I guess. Service configurations YAML. So I think what's happening here is that probably they only run this on CI.
Makes sense.
And so on CI you have,
have
this
that.
configuration and it has the right
The-
keys, right? So maybe it's worth it to have the test here.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
we
then.
won't be able to run it. We have to run on
Locally.
CI,
Yeah.
or we would have to add the configuration, which would be hard and annoying. So maybe let's just skip the test
Yeah.
and run on CI.
Interesting. I wonder.
But that's pretty interesting,
I wonder if there's any.
because this is a big gotcha.
Yeah.
Say you want to add the test to one of the services. Probably on CI they have all of the services configured with some private keys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe let's keep that. So mirror service is right, and then public service. Yeah, so all of them have that. See?
Yeah.
This
I saw that.
So I wonder if we should. I wonder if we should add the test to all of them. So this guy here. Do you think this is a good idea?
Maybe we can just add there instead
Where?
of all of them.
In
Because-
one of them?
Like just here that will be ran on all the others, right? And then just the
So on the shared, it runs on all of them, but you have to handle, because you will have to handle the type of it, right?
okay. Because if
Which
you
is fine. We could do that test. We could check the type of the service, and yeah, we could do something like that. So, for example, instead of doing it here, what we could do is we could do this on the shared service test. But so let's see.
if you go just so okay, maybe I can watch here. If you go to the
So,
mirror to the disk service, is there okay, no, never mind. Yeah, they call the shared service tests. Okay.
So what we could do this. We could check the type and then assert accordingly. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
And then it would run, it would work.
If it is okay.
Right? So maybe that's something we could do. Yeah, let's try that. So okay, so the service type.
Active storage service test.
Service. We could check. Yeah, we would kind of have to do the same thing. Where it's kind of a crappy test, I think, but we could do something like if the type is something, you assert false, else it's always true. You know what I mean? You assert.
Could you just do if type is disk true, else false?
No, because you have the mirror. Oh, I see what you mean. No, that's a good idea. What we could do is if type equals service whatever. Let's see here. Service disk. This stuff here, I think. So if it's a mirror, yeah, let's see. If it's a mirror, or a disk service, you do the test, Yeah, because
Wait.
I would only like to do this test for the general case, the other types of services. So what you could do is type in here to storage. Yeah, let's try this. Just try this to see. Then we make a better disk service. So if the type is one of them, I don't want to do the test. Know what I mean? If type in, I don't want to do it. So what is
No,
the
you want
include?
to assert to false, right?
Not necessarily, because for mirror, you don't know, right? We don't know. But for this service, yes. But for mirror service, you don't know. There's no way to know. You have to look at depends on the test case. So I would like to skip this test, because probably I would skip here. Because, so here's the reason. If the service being tested is mirror service, actually, I could even do this. This is always true, I guess. Service type, if type equals this, let's do this. If service is a active storage, you assert true. If service is a mirror service, I don't know. I can't know, right? So I would maybe skip it. Else it's false. Do you agree? Understand what's happening?
No. I think
So if it's a disk service, disk can be true, right? It needs to be true.
right.
On the shared test. If it's a mirror service, it may or may not be true, right? So we don't want to test that here. We're gonna test it here. So we keep this, and we test it here, and it's gonna be okay, right? It's gonna be true here because this test case uses a disk service inside mirror, okay?
Right.
But on the shared, I can only know, I don't know that, right? There's no way to know. So we probably just skip it because we have the other test there. But if it's not a disk service and if it's not a mirror, then it must be false. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I think it will make sense. Because then for the mirror case, you have the test here and it's fine. And ideally I would like to test if you don't have the disk service on the mirrors, but so maybe something like that, I think. What's your take on this?
I'm not sure. I think it's good to start wrapping up. I can't think anymore. I mean,
yeah, so well, let's do this. Let's skip this test here. And then we have tests for the mirror service.
Which one did we add?
Just true.
Okay.
It's gonna be true here because the configuration points to a disk service.
Okay.
And then we have the disk service that will be true always. And then for the other cases, that's tricky because it only runs on CI. But we could also add it, but maybe let's do it later. Let's not do it now. And so we could have a good, it will put us on a good place, but we have to add a bunch of other tests probably. And then we also have the test for this guy here. Yeah, so we have the test for this stuff here. But it would be nice to have another test that is not using a disk service. So we can also add that in another time. But at least we got something that makes sense. And then we got what we wanted, which was refactoring this stuff here. So what do you think? Yes, I think that's a good start. So just doing a quick recap. We wanted to refactor this method here. So I can even show you how it used to look like. So it used to look like this. So kind of crazy. And so we decided to move this responsibility of saying I am a disk service or I am using a disk service inside of me. Move this responsibility to the service, right? And so we just call a method on the service, and then they are responsible for figuring this stuff out. So if they are using a disk service or not, if it's a mirror, blah blah blah. And then we had to implement this method disk on each service. And so first we came here to the main class that all of the services inherit from. We implemented the method here, so it's always false here. But we have to run Robocop.
We do.
And then on disk service, we override the method and say it's always true because it needs to be. On the mirror service, we check for, so the mirror service looks at the primary service and all of its mirrors and call disk on them.
Right.
And then if it's a disk service type, it's going to be true. So that's better, much cleaner. So that's it. And then I guess that's a good way to implement that. But we need to figure out some of the tests. It's going to take a while to add those tests. But the strategy now is to we're going to add a test for disk service, a test for mirror service, and we're going to skip the other types of tests because it depends on the CI, so we're going to have to figure that out and add them as needed. And we can do that next week, probably add more tests and try stuff out. And I'm pretty happy with this implementation. We're gonna run the tests again, Robocop, but I think this is a good place to stop.
Sounds good.
So any questions about that? Does that make sense to you?
I think as long as we add more tests for them, then I'm okay with that.
For sure.
Because I want to see if we are not missing something here. Oh, we just have one?
It's the only thing that changed, right? So it's auto-corrected. And then, did we change anything else? Somewhere else? Let's see here.
Well,
we have active storage and royalties. No, royalties we didn't change really. Just spry.
Because in the PR we have a fail Robocop, and it's not in any of these files.
So let's run it on the
Let me
root
find
file. And just fix everything. Cause yeah. Yeah, but I think it's a good place to stop because now we are moving into testing, which is another
Yeah.
subject.
Oh yeah, it's in the configuration test.
And so it's kind of interesting how they skip the tests for the services and only run them on CI, which makes sense, but it's a little surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why is this not
Working, yeah.
running? I was, for one moment, I thought there were just tests that should not exist. I was like, no, but that doesn't make sense. They have to test it. But it makes sense to have the configurations in the CI, and because I guess you would have to handle sharing these configurations and all of that stuff.
Yeah, because you have so
Which
they
is
probably have
annoying.
the services configured. They
Yeah.
probably have an account on each of the services, and they test that on CI because you don't want to give the keys to everybody,
That
right?
super makes sense. Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense, but yeah, it's cool. A little surprising. So that's why you should always read the whole test. At least the beginning of the test file is a good idea. And if you change a test and it's still true, and it's not running the test you want, you have to double check because probably you're not running the test.
Yeah.
And that's why you're not getting what you want.
Yeah, it's not because you got it right. It's because it's not running.
All right. So with that, I guess that's it for today.
Yeah. You want to put that in a commit list?
I can do that offline, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess this is the end of another Open Source Thursday. It always takes longer than we expect. But that's a good thing
the
because
refactoring was easy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when
it's
we
just the
agreed
test.
on something, it was easy.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: the thing we were changing, we didn't really have tests for that. So the services, they don't have this.
Yeah.
They don't have the test that we wanted. But the refactoring was easy.
Yeah, and it also explains why all the tests are using disk service, like because we don't have the configuration of the services locally.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
All right, that's cool. I've learned a lot today.
Yeah. I'm almost sleeping, but I was able to get something.
All right, so thanks so much for joining today. Hope you've learned something, and we'll be back next week.
Yay! Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So you have to stop.